and then I'll be able to read comments if y'all hop on here. Yeah. And at the moment, I just kind of forgot how to do that. I guess you go to content over here. And then you go to live, and I'll see if anything's playing live. Here it is. Alrighty then. All right, here's where it is playing on YouTube, and I just gotta mute that bad boy. Okay, why is it showing sideways? This is weird. Okay, so it knows it's coming from my phone, so I guess we'll turn this and we'll do it sideways view for all you phone people. We'll specialize that way today. All right, hopefully that's close enough. So what we have here is a little, what do you call these things? It's not a cash machine. It's a register. So we're gonna remove this for a moment, but I'm gonna go over exactly how I made it. Okay, so let me first show you the key components of it. And I'm doing this as a live stream because I am just too lazy to edit. And I'm doing it from my phone because yesterday I attempted for the first time to do a live stream using my son's webcam that I had pointed straight down at the surface. And it turns out the quality is bad. So I really wanted a nice crisp clear picture like you see here. And so we're back on the phone, and the microphone is, it's just my phone mic. I have a better microphone right here. It's just gonna take me a bit to get figured out exactly how I want to rig that. So anyway, this is what we have. So here we have a little tiny cash machine, and you could make this for your kids or yourself or whatever, or not, or just entertain yourself. We can talk about whatever. Hop on the chat, say something if you show up, and let me just go ahead and show you what's in here. See this little drawer? This has a pull tab. It's got a drawer, and it's got little money in it. So I just cut these out of paper and drew on them with a marker. And somebody snuck in here and gave me some counterfeit bills. This is In Frog We Trust. Can't believe it. I've been cheated. And here I got mouse bucks, so I guess I can pay mice for their services if I need to. And we've got a couple of, in the coin slot here, we've got a couple of coins. Now I could put a little bit of that museum wax on the back and stick them so they stick better, so they don't slide around all the time. Not a big deal. But if you look up here, see, you'll see the piece of paper. This drawer is attached, and you'll see it goes from $12.50 to no sale. So that changes what's happening in your register. Oh, I left money laying out. Can't do that. Those little mice will sneak in and take my cash. Okay, little adding machine. You could do this in large scale, and you could have paper tape come out of there. And here's a little thing. A little piece of paper is being a booger. So I learned this when I worked for a printer. You can stab it with a little with a little blade. Hello, Brenda. Dave O'Neill. Why aren't you working today? You should try your pop-up books, right? Yeah, I just like to do YouTube, Dave. You know that. I've done a million things, right? In the time that you've known me, I've done so many things. But here, this receipt also says $12.50 on it because that's how much I came up with for that. But let me show you the construction of how this is built. And it's really silly, but you got kids, you got grandkids, you got somebody you want to entertain with this. It's actually a little bit of a trick. So I'm going to break down the components for here. Obviously, the receipt is just a little piece of paper. It's kind of nice to make them out of cardboard because then they're easier to grab, and then they don't wrinkle as much when you're sliding them in. And this piece here slides right out. Now you can draw an end bit like this. On this drawer, I put the tab, this side of the tab. Let me see if I can show you how that would work here. So I put that side of the tab in the underneath part, and it locks like that. Hi, Celia. Good morning, or whatever time it is where you are. Now let me show you how this worked. So this drawer is like the money drawer, and this is where I would put the little money bills and everything. Okay, now here are the amounts that it would ring up to. And so it's slid underneath. But to keep that from rocking around, I built a whole system on the back to take care of that. Let me show you. So really, I've created a track for that paper to run in. See it from the side, you can see what's happening, and you can see it there. It's a simple track made with a tissue box. Once the tissues were all gone, and see we have no sale right now. Oh, I got $4.28, so I gotta make some change, right? You can make it any price, and then if you do no sale, the drawer pops out, and that's when you take the money. That's how cash registers used to be. I don't know how they are now. But anyway, I just covered that up with this so that I could set it on something. Even if it was lumpy, it would still slide out. But that is the general idea of that item. I have another item to show you. So please, in the comments up there, in the chat, just let me know what you do for fun, because I'm interested in knowing. Maybe help me guide the channel a little bit by telling me what you do. Okay, I have another how it's made for you. Ready? This one is interesting. I saw this lady do a whole register like this, but she built it in 3D. So each of these was an actual button. And I watched her video long enough to see how the buttons were designed, and let me show you like a simple button idea. So she had a button like this, and you could pat them. It would actually fit down in this hole. I don't have it all taped together on purpose because I want, so it's not gonna operate perfectly, but okay, it's on a spring. I wanted to show you how exactly I made it, so I took apart, I left it so it would come apart still. But she had essentially a box with squares cut out of it, and then each one of these buttons was formed. We'll break it down into pieces. I don't know if you made these when you were a kid. You go back and forth with 2 strips of paper, and I will grab a piece of paper and explain that. 1 second. All right, you need a piece of paper, and you just need to cut it into 2 strips. I see a large shadow on the bottom here. I'm going to try and move the shadow a little bit. How's that? There we go. Oh, well, that's my camera creating the shadow, so I'm just trying to move the... Okay, try and live with it. We don't want to waste time here. Your time is valuable. So you see how this space is just strips of cardboard making a square for that to sit in? And then it had a cover over it. And then the button has its own cover, just like your keyboard on your computer. So this is how you make those springs. I glued mine together right here, but you really don't have to. So you just fold it. It'll fold naturally right on the other edge, and you'll just fold it again. You just keep folding towards the center. Just work opposites. It's very simple. Okay, see? And we have a spring, and you would just make this as long as you needed to get the height spring that you needed. Okay, so if I wanted to keep going and make it longer, wherever I see that line, the division between where the last one folded over, that's just what you're going to butt it up against to fold your next piece until you run out. And then you can glue that last one shut, and then you'd put glue at the top and the bottom to fit your spring in there. Now here's the button, and you can, before you fold this up, you would write, if you're going to write something on it, that's the point that you fold it up. Let me show it to you unfolded, what it looks like. We're just going to put this right back on top of our spring and put it away, because you get the point now. Sorry, my sis make a miss. Your sister made a mess? Oh, what, you had to run off? Okay, so I made a little template. This is essentially the cuts that you need. The dashed lines are always fold lines, and straight lines are always cut lines. So you're cutting up, just on the side ones, you're cutting up a little further so that you end up with these little foldy tabs. Okay, and my template's a little bit off because this side should be slightly shorter, because if I was to fold this right up, the length is going to be different because we've removed this much. it's going to be a little taller than this one. So let me show you here. I think I've cut this one down though, so it'll fold properly. But you'll see, if it's too long, just cut it off if you don't get it right. So you fold the edges down, you'll put a little glue stick right there, and just stick your corners together. You can do the same. You can just build yourself a cardboard box. Say you're shipping something and you need a box, or you're making something to sort your, you know, if Dave's making something to sort his bullets. Hi, Val. You love my videos. Yay! Okay, thank you. That makes me so happy. All right, so here we go. I made a little tiny box, but that little box, that's your button. So you beep, 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 like that. Okay, so the receipt, I haven't quite figured out how to make the receipt not argue with the drawer when the drawer comes back up. See, let's get the drawer shut. Now you see there's the total. Here's your little money. So isn't that adorbs? I thought it was so cute. So yeah, that's how the button's made. And you know, you don't need to use somebody else's template to do this stuff. You just build it, see what works. If it works well, you know, do it again. I have another one for you here. Just a sec. I have another one. Then we can doodle if I have people watching. I'm gonna start doodling. So, and you can tell me what doodles are your favorite so far. Okay, so here's another one. Just a moment. I need to slide all my items out of the way. The mock-up one. I think Vel just showed up, so I'm going to show her. This is the one that was the sample. Oh, the receipt fell in. Let's shake that out. There it goes. There we go. So you can play like you're at work when you're not at work, because really that's what you don't want to do, right? When you're home, you should be home. Don't be doing work. But little kids love to play like they're working. It's funny. Like a little kid would love you to build a cardboard box and put buttons in it, and then they can play like they're working, like mom and dad. And then they want to cook too. They want to really cook. They want to cook with real tools, first of all, and then they want to cook over real heat. They want to do whatever it is you're doing. Let me grab a sip of my green tea here. Just a moment. So, if you love my projects, what are your favorite projects that I've done? Do you like the miniature pottery? Or do you like it when I sculpt something? Or what's this? This bear has a funny story. I sold this bear to someone. Okay? She never picked it up. So it's still my bear. So that's odd, right? Oh, I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff back here that I've made on my shelf. And this is one of my favorites. I made this bear, and that is 18 karat gold paint. Of course, you probably can't cash it in for much, but look at how cute he is. That's sculpted out of clay, and then it's fired in a kiln, and then it's glazed, fired again, and then at a low temperature, the gold paint is fired on. Just very cool. But I was working my tail off at pottery, and I was only making enough money to make more pottery, and I wasn't working that hard to begin with. So I'm what you call a lazy artist, I guess. I wasn't willing to break my back over it, and I quit. I haven't posted anything to the Tiny Chick Pottery channel in ages. Okay, here's the other one. Okay, so this one has a different printer, and it's got a little, I just painted this the same color as back, and I made a little wire back here to connect the monitor and everything. I can't wait till things don't have wires anymore. And this one has a receipt tape, but look at the problem here. It's got one of those long CVS tapes, but it doesn't have a roller to hold that on. Yeah, here we go. Why did you retract? I didn't get to read the retracted message. Was it juicy? Were you gonna get in trouble? Okay, so here we go. There we go, a little receipt. Okay, and here, oh man, yesterday's video was really, I thought it was very interesting. I talked about techno-feudalism and how like it's getting to be where there's like a super rich class of people and the poorer class. There's many more of the people in the poorer class, and they're all dependent, so much dependent on the richer class. And I had a bunch of these little, I had a couple of things like this that I was drawing to show some different emotional stuff, which is funny. Here, you know what? I can show it to you. We talked about this yesterday, but there really wasn't anyone here and nobody watched it. So it's like, I'm not really repeating myself if nobody watched it, right? But yeah, I'll save you the trouble of looking back. I'll just show you what it was about. So we got talking about current events, I guess. Okay, so as I said yesterday, I've been working on handling things with less emotion. Not like totally stoic, but more like when somebody says something to me to bait me, I want to have the comeback that like diffuses the situation. I don't want to make things worse. I don't want to be hostile. I just want to be the person who diffuses things. So I've been working on Jefferson Fisher. Let me write this down. You see this name here. Okay, so this guy, I just don't like advertising this company here. I don't even know what they do. I think maybe they made my mouse pad or something. So anyway, there's this guy, Jefferson Fisher. And he teaches communication skills. But I didn't buy his book. I think it's Fisher. You'll find him with that much information. Okay, he teaches communication. Anyway, if you go to chat.com, which is where ChatGPT is, you can have conversations with the AI and ask it to teach you how to communicate like Jefferson Fisher. And you can do play acting, which is so cool. You can have it, you can say, this is gonna sound sick, okay? Don't get upset with me, but I tell it to insult me, okay? As a test to see how I can come back to insults and not get triggered. So anyway, here's the anger meter. So that's why I needed that little, the one from the other page with the little, what do you call it? It's like a pin. Like all these machines always would have a pin and it would be like, psh, oh, I'm super happy. And then psh, super mad, right? But here's the thing, like in life, like I find this other emotion here. So you're bored and then somebody gives you a nasty comment and you get excited, okay? Now you can get excited in either direction here. Sad, generally, not that excited. Happy could be excited. Neutral, generally in this range, you're down here. You're pretty bored, right? But either anger or ecstatic, your heart rate starts going up. You're hopping, or even nervous. We didn't even have a nervous in here. I don't even know where I'd put nervous, but it's not anger, but it's on the bad side of feelings, right? So we say bad feelings, good feelings. So I had these buttons and people can come along and press your buttons. Good use for your button pressing skills, you know? Yeah. So anyway, your negative button gets pushed. You start going over here instead of remaining neutral. This is like, we want to stay neutral. And you know, I don't even know if too much excitement in life is like really great for you or not. But maybe we want to, in yoga class, like I remember the teacher saying, any kind of excitement, you know, too much good, too much bad, it's not good for you. She's like, we just need to maintain more calm. So anyway, the back and forth, hundreds of times with the fake Jefferson Fisher in the AI, and helps me to respond back. So if somebody says, Julie, you're too sensitive, and it's like, my response has to come back with something like, I hear that you think I'm too sensitive. I can understand how you feel that way. And I can either be humble and say, you know, I've really been trying to work on that. It's humble and honest. And I can say, or I could say, you know, we are all works in progress, which kind of lobs it right back at the person who told you the thing, that said you're too sensitive, which is basically a value judgment on you, right? So, you know, when we say we are all works in progress, I'm including them in it. You know, I'm saying you're not perfect either, right? And here's another, this other video that I watched was so interesting, and it was about anger. Okay. It was more about, I guess it was about keeping your cool. And it was about you getting poked in the axiom, which like, I didn't even know what axiom meant. Let's be honest. I was an English lit major in college, but I was never much of a student in general. I pulled straight A's in the last semester only because I loved my classes. I loved philosophy and I loved reading books, and the classes were just easy. By the time I was in college, I knew how to study. I mean, by the end of college, I knew how to study. So anyway, I still didn't learn this word, axiom. It's the fundamental principles by which that you believe to be true, or a fundamental principle which you believe to be true would be an axiom. I guess axioms would be principles because, you know, plurals. So there are things like funny things about me. The word they drives me bananas. Okay. I like to be pleasant to everyone I meet, but if you try to call your name a they, you're going to upset me because of the English language, okay? So this is one of the fundamental axioms. This is one of those things that would trigger me. If somebody insists, let's turn this pen in the proper direction. They insist on they. Call me they. They did this, they did that. And but this person is a singular. It's a you. You did this. Or she, or he, or it, like it did it, like the car shut off, whatever, that would be an it. But this they thing, this doesn't exist. There's no one person. Even, okay, the only situation in that where I see you should call a person they is if this person has two heads, one body. You know, you can have, I don't know how many limbs you have when you have two heads. You know, there are people that are born with two heads. That's two individual people here. Otherwise, you're probably, what's that called? No, you have the multiple personality disorder, which is not really a thing anymore, I guess. That craze went out. But anyway, that's like a fundamental axiom. That's one of mine. I just don't go with that they thing, okay? You can't be both. You could be what you want to be, and that's fine. You do you, right? Anyway, just don't mess with my language. And so other people have other things that they find triggering. So over here, let's not talk about this. This is the wealth. This is how much wealth is held in the hands of the 1%, which is 31% of the total wealth in the United States is held in this group of people in the 1%. And then I had other percentages, but yeah. So 1% plus 69% plus 30%, that's everybody. But I don't think this didn't add up properly here. I think that I need to research this number here. But it looks like the bottom 30% of the people do have 5.6% of the wealth. And that's really all that was. And we called these people the digital peasants. Now, I got that from this other video that I watched, and I can't remember what video it was, but it was very good. And they talked about this new age of digital feudalism. Now, this all looks very confusing because it's just a whole bunch of writing and not a lot of doodles. And you want to see doodles. So I thought maybe I could grab a concept out of here and build a doodle off of it. And I do doodles that have meaning, and some don't have any meaning, and some of them are funny, and some are like, you know, something that makes me annoyed, right? I'm not just gonna go out and like launch into my they routine or anything like that, because like I don't like to go out of my way to offend people, but I do get annoyed. But so what part of this should the gig workers, with the new castles, like maybe we should drive, maybe I should draw the house of one of these people, but build a moat around it, or just draw everyday objects that are around the room, you know, like the castle thing is funny. So I guess what they do is once you get lots and lots of money, you move yourself to a gated community. So I flipped to another page because I'm trying not to ruin so many pages. Maybe I can grab a nasty sheet out of here and use it as the buffer sheet. One of the sheets that already got dirty. Yeah, this one's already dirty. Let's flip this baby over. The inks bleed through really well. Yeah. So have I offended y'all yet? I offended at least half of y'all because y'all just like what left. So there we go. Now my people have remained. That's how to do it right there. You just go, yeah, because I don't understand. We could do bears or a map. Sometimes I was thinking like we could draw a little house, but houses don't speak to me right at the moment. Right at the moment, I'm thinking I need a pencil. And maybe I want to draw something happy. Oh, Vel, I'm glad you're back and I haven't offended you too much. I'm thinking this is going to be a room and perhaps it's a bakery. Okay, that's one thing I love about spaces. Like you can take a blank sheet of paper and immediately one line. Now you've got two walls. Another line this way. And now you've decided where the floor is. And this one has to be, I mean, actually it doesn't have to be, I want more room in here, so I'm not gonna go this way. So I'm gonna go this way and horizontal to the bottom of the paper. I just drew a beautiful straight line. Look at that. Look at that gorgeous line. Here, I'm going to try again. I'm trying to get it straighter this time. Okay, that's a trick. I anchored my hand against the edge of the paper and I just ran it like, just like when you were a kid and you wanted to draw two lines that were exactly the same. And what did I do here? This is why you always have an eraser handy. Okay. Yeah, when you're a kid and you want to draw two lines and you grab two pens. Let me just, first you have to get the lead out. Fake lead. We talked about this. It's graphite. It's graphite. It's not lead. Okay. There we go. When you're a little kid, you take two pencils at the same time. And so you can draw parallel lines just by pinning your pencils together. So we'll do this to trace the molding across the floor, but we're not going to do it too dark because we're going to have something on the floor. Here we go. We're going to have stuff in front of it. Oh, I missed. Let's get back to the line here. Sorry, went off the page there. No need to go much further off that side. All right. Dave, are you still here? I can't tell. Dave's probably at work. That Dave guy, he's pretty cool. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you have that. Now, to add depth, we're a little higher than this spot, so we can just add another line right above the molding, and that shows that the molding has thickness. Don't worry, this is going to come together really quick here. Oh, I've been meaning to draw the pizza factory. I drew a pizza factory the other day and it didn't work out because I didn't consider that you have to have a production line. And your production line has to, everything has to go in order. But let's build some windows into this room. Super easy to just start thinking about things, you know, a room must have a window. Yeah. So my job has not started yet because there's a man who needs to fly out from California who hasn't been able to get his identification in order to be able to fly. There's this thing called Real ID, which most of us already have. If you look on your driver's license, you'll see a star, and that means your ID is acceptable now. It's not too easy to counterfeit, I guess, or something. I don't know. I don't know why they needed that star on there. But anyway. So where are we standing in this room? We can probably see the inside of that edge there. So we'll come down here. Just bring it together like that. Your dream room. No, I'm going to draw your dream room. What's your dream room? Vel. And is Vel is it short for like Velma or something? Velta? Or is it a secret? It could be a secret. You can make something up, I don't care. All right, so yeah, the angles here are going to be different based on where you're standing in the room. So likely this angle is probably wrong based on this angle. And you can figure that out. If you create a vanishing point and you go, that's the vanishing point there, you can draw a line straight out from your vanishing point. And then if this one's off, that's the real line. That's where it should be. But your vanishing point would be the same for at all times. I don't have a string, do I? You can make a dot so that you can figure out. I think it made a dot. So there's a good vanishing point. This white piece of paper is not easy for you to see, I don't think. But see, yeah, we'll just make that be the vanishing point. Then you can figure your angles based on it. That one's good. That'll work. All right. So the reason why you have a vanishing point is so that everything doesn't look wonky. Now, what we need in here is going to be a table. I'm not sure how high off the floor the window is, but I kind of want the table to be about this high so that we can see that ledge. So we're just gonna decide that the table is taking up like this much space, maybe. Am I on screen? Good. Okay. Holler at me if I fall off screen. Devel? That's pretty. It could be like an opera star's name, like Devel is on stage now. Okay, what countries are we all from? I am in Texas in the United States. Sometimes by choice, sometimes not. So I'm not sure what part of the baseboard here is going to be visible under the table. Also, the tabletop is going to be larger than where the legs are. So we're going to use the other line for the legs, and we're just gonna build this, move this right along. Okay, and then I always like there to be this like stepped, there's like a box, and then maybe the legs are inside the box that goes under the table. And by that I mean kind of a square of wood. It's not really a box. A box has 6 sides. I mean, typically. There we go. Okay. Oops. This should have extended to that far. Okay. Don't make that mistake again. I need an eraser. Okay, so the mistake I keep making, pressing on this to use an erase, and then it pushes the spring and the lead comes flying out the end. And I feel idiotic every time I do it. And then I have to take off the eraser to put the lead back in properly. It's annoying. I probably should splurge and just buy a decent drawing pen. Okay, so there's the basis of my table, and she needs some table legs. Oh, here's a funny. So I drew this table like complete side view. Why did I do that? That's stupid. Now we can't see what's on the table. So instead, let's make a vanishing point here. Okay, and we're going to draw the tabletop in perspective. Silly goose. I am a silly goose. There we go. Okay, so the tabletop's going to be in perspective from there. So we'll draw this one. There we go. Okay, so all this nonsense is going away. And this, kids, is why we use pencil. Because I don't know what the heck I'm doing when I'm talking at the same time. Yeah, and it's not a glass table. We're not going to have the distraction of seeing through the table. So we're going to I'm going to get rid of the lines I don't want so as to not confuse myself later. Okay. Weirdly, it almost goes on the same line. The edge of the table is almost at the same line as the floorboard here. So I'm going to, instead of making that confusing, I'm going to just go a little bit lower. Okay. I don't really need to use a straight edge to draw the lines, but I like it. It makes it a little easier moving things along. So now we have a table, but I don't like where the leg is. But that could be, okay, so here's how you figure out where the legs go. So you're going to have a back leg. This will be an oval, actually, based on perspective. As things face you, a circle is this way, but as it turns away from you, it becomes an oval. So you know to draw an oval back here. And up here, this is closer to you, it's going to be less of an oval. So this is the, if you could see through the table, this is where the legs of the table are connected to the underside. And again, there's going to be that skirt, that boxy, the box without the top and the bottom that they build underneath tables. I'm just going to draw right there. So the legs would be inside that. So if you could see through it, you'd know the legs were there. Okay, and then we're just going to come down and find a spot on the floor where we want the feet to land. And that will be another circle. Something like that. It's kind of a beefy leg. That just made me remember. I too have beefy legs, and I need to get out and walk today. But when I went to go walk earlier, it was raining, so I just ended up cleaning up the lawn furniture that I had. We had 100-mile-an-hour winds the other night, which is crazy. Such weird weather. I think that's about the same length. We're going to check it. Yeah, so I had to unfold our, we have a little table outside. Oh, that's a skinny leg. You know I want skinny legs when I grow up. Okay, that's a little better. There we go. Don't use that eraser. Gotta yell at myself now and then. All right. Okay. So yeah, I've been watching, not really the news. I've been watching this guy. I watched this crazy guy. He's so crazy. Asmongold. He's super famous. He's one of the most searched names on YouTube this year. And he's this dude who lives in his house and like barely leaves. Hardly leaves. He does have a few friends. He says he is or was a psychopath. I don't know. Can you ever cure yourself of that? He doesn't, I think he stays away from people so that he doesn't do anything wrong. But he's got, I like his political insights. I like the way he thinks and his logic and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, you might think he's evil. I don't know. But sometimes I think he does. Not mine to judge. He's entertaining. So instead of actually watching the news, which I find a super bummer a lot of times, I watch other people who've picked out the highlights of the news and kind of just watch their review of what's happening on the internet and stuff. Keeps me off of social media. I think social media can be kind of unhealthy. Here, I think we should do this. Now, as this goes back in space, that leg should be shorter than that leg, and it is, so that's good. So this leg should be the same height as the other, I think. So I'm just gonna make a V down here for that leg. There we go. Okay, good enough. Now, what I like to do, I can't ink this. You can't ink it until you have the other stuff drawn because you might need to erase those lines later. And where your lines intersect with other lines, you just go ahead and erase them. Otherwise, it doesn't, your furniture will like blend into the background. So it's better to erase those things. Now, on the table, we need our pizza making supplies. So, here's what I've learned about processes. You have to start your process in one area and finish it in the other area. So the finished pie is going to be on the right. We're going with like the way you read the book. So a finished pizza will be ovals, yes, pepperoni. But over here, you have to start with the basics. you're gonna need a pitcher of water to go in the flour. You need some water, yeast, salt. Like we're working from scratch here, so we'll need a bowl of flour. See, my favorite room has a pizza in it. Okay. And then a bottle of sauce. See, when I make a pizza, I just have a bottle of store-bought sauce because lazy. I just think the store-bought sauce tastes so good. There we go. The view of it's maybe partially blocked by this pizza later. Like, it's so close to that pie. I guess I can move it over. I can move it over. I did it again. Stop doing that. Think I'll ever learn? I don't know. I'm so used to flipping over my pencil. But I more recently started using this sort of a mechanical pencil, and I'm not used to it. So yeah, I've been watching the news. I've been watching the craziness in California, and I realize it's just a couple blocks in California. It's really not as big a deal as they're making it. But it's, you know, it certainly is entertaining. That's a terrible thing to say, but seriously, I mean, that might be the feeling of a lot of people, where it's like, okay, the world's going crazy, and I'm just over here looking at it going, all right, y'all are crazy. Everything's crazy. So I'm going to put a label on the sauce, but I'm going to put it to the side so that we'll be able to see a lot of that red, just to know that this is full of red stuff here. Okay. So drawing in real time is kind of boring, isn't it? All right, my dream room has pizza. You know, so there'd be flour in here. We'll make a pile of dough. Let's just make this a pile of dough at this point. That looks like a bush that you might have outside a house. That's how I draw clouds. It's just really not really very good, but it's fine for now. What else is anything else happening in the news that I have not been aware of? If I ever need to run, y'all let me know, okay? Like, because I'm not paying attention. I'm not paying attention, and I think I'm just, I think I'm, like, as they say, I'm all out of crap to give. I just don't have any more attention. I have lost interest in other people's problems to a certain degree, and just lost interest in the news. Everybody's like, it's a dumpster fire wherever you look. I just want to be in my own peaceful. My brain is pretty peaceful. That's where I want to live in. So keep that cool. Stay out of those arguments with I'm practicing to, you know, when somebody insults me or when they criticize me, because I'm not good. Let me tell you, I'm not good at taking criticism. I want to be the person who's good at taking criticism. I think I need a salt shaker. I'm trying to think what they look like. We need salt, because so a salt shaker is going to have you know, those, actually, I need a lot of salt, so I'm going to use one of those, like, big Morton kind of, one of those big salt cellar. I think it's called a salt cellar. The cardboard box the salt is in, and then it's got that little flap in the top that's a little bit hard to draw without a really sharp pencil point. But we can say salt on here to make it clear this one is salt. It's so easy. Doodling is easy and it's fun, and you can just go on forever. You know, if this was my kitchen, I think Okay, I know it's a work, say it's a work kitchen, but still, I mean, I need my vanishing point. I need to know this angle here. There could be a rug. I think it would look cool with a rug, but I realize that would be disgusting if it's in like a commercial kitchen, but I don't care. We're putting it because it's going to add some texture. And this thing, whoops. Okay, got to look at my vanishing point here. Let's see where the other end of the rug is. So this line is my vanishing point. It's going to affect all of the angles of things that are coming out at you. So if you had no vanishing point, this one, the inside square, this is straight ahead of you, and it doesn't have any depth. Just like this rectangle, okay? As it moves away from you, the front gets wider and the back looks skinnier. So that's how we know things are further away, right? And that's exactly the point with perspective. I mean, it just gives you a sense of space. So it's so cool because you take this flat sheet of paper and it looks like everything should be on that plane, and you start building it into a 3D space. Makes it fun. Yeah, y'all aren't telling me what's happening in the news. Are y'all also like anti-news or what? So, you know, we need a spoon. Spoons are so hard to draw. I feel like that bowl that's on the spoon on the end, like if you look at it straight from the side, but we're not looking at it from the side. We got to draw a little perspective on it. So it's going to have a long oval, but it's going to have a little more on this end, maybe a little curve like that. Yeah, you didn't think that was hard, but I'm sweating over here trying to figure that out. Okay. Oh, we'll need a pizza cutter. I mean, there's no oven. So the oven's going to be over here. The process should have started on this side and worked this way. The oven's going to be over here. We need to build an oven. So let's do an oven in perspective. First, we got to hang it. We're going to hang it on the wall randomly. So we have to aim this line all the way at that dot. Okay. And this line, point it all the way to the dot. So something like that. If it's on the wall. Okay. Now this box, the back of the box is sitting on the wall. We have to build it out into the room. These lines should all be horizontal, I think. Depending on the perspective point, I think. Okay. So this is the inside wall of the box. Then it's going to have a front wall. So this is odd, but where's it going to be? Okay. I got to draw the side wall first before I attach them. And then I will know. Ah, there's the front. There's the front of the box. Hey, y'all. Nobody told me I was off screen. How long was this going to go on? Y'all looked away. Julie, you're off screen. Yeah? Seriously. Are you doing two things at once? Y'all? Like, wow, no one's paying attention to me. I'm the only one here. Don't care. Here we go. I really want to get to know the people who tune in. Just a couple of key things. So this is the oven. We have moved the pizza off the screen to the right, but we needed an oven. Should we have the oven door open or closed? I guess it's going to be closed because, so we'll draw that in here. Let me get some of this cute stuff back on the screen for a second. All right, I'm going to draw just draw a little door on the oven. Here, just a sec. we're gonna get a broader view. Hopefully I don't get a big, huge shadow. Here we go. You can see my little cash register from earlier. Still up here. Another thing I like to, this is a weird subject that I watch videos on, but it's probably because I watch that other guy, right? And he's a single man who lives in Austin and never leaves his house. Find him fascinating. He's in the, like, not in the, I wouldn't say the He-Man Woman Haters Club, but it's more like He-Man, I can't stand the modern woman attitude club that I think a lot of people are in. And I watch videos about that, and then I'll watch videos I'll see about, they talk about modern dating and what it's like. And I feel so bad. Man, I feel like I got the last ticket out, you know, of that dating pool. I was getting kind of old when I met my husband. I was 28. You know, I feel like, oh, these kids, the poor kids, dating now. People are insane. They play these clips of these girls like getting rejected by a guy and just completely going crazy and insulting their masculinity. And it's like, why would anyone, what the behaviors that are on display for the world to see right now are just pure insanity. It's just bananas. There's no pizza in here yet, but I feel like one should be cooking. I feel like we should be cooking a pizza. So first, let's figure out where it will go. It'll be on the rack, but it'll be half hidden here. So we're going to draw the curve like it goes all the way around. Oh, what is that, deep dish? Yum. Oh man, do I love pizza. What's your favorite food, people? There's a little pizza in the oven. Okay, let's start putting some color in just for some fun. I feel like it's boring. Like, it's boring to look at a pencil drawing. It's boring without any color or any shadows or anything like that. It's going to start to pop a little bit. We don't have, what do we not have? We also don't have any cheese. So we're just going to color the things that we already know where they live. What's really fun is to draw these on separate little pieces of paper and be able to shift them around. So if I forget anything later, I certainly can draw it on a piece of paper and just tape it on top, or just not even tape it, just make it movable. Use some of that museum wax so I can stick it and then move it around. You could do a stop motion with a drawing by having everything on little pieces of paper. Sounds like fun. It's an awful lot of effort when we already have so much to do. Like, oh, we have so many videos to watch. So much stuff to do. I think I might be a fan, like the whole thing with the excitement versus boredom, with the boredom meter that we drew earlier. It was like this. And when you're bored, you have all this reserve here. Your bored is down here. And excited is up here. All right? So when this starts to boil up, you get all excited. And like, I think maybe we should try to live more here. Maybe we should be bored more. Too much excitement. I mean, it raises your cortisol. It's going to make you unhealthy, metabolically speaking. Too much cortisol, not good. Stress on the body and all that. So like, maybe it's good to sit around being bored, just like watching this weird doodler from Texas just doodle on. Why did everybody leave? It was probably because I went off the page, and I probably said something rude or something. I don't know. Typically, I probably said, you know, I was talking about that psychopath. Literally, the guy said he was a psychopath. He used to people would piss him off and he would stab him. So know, like that. Like I said something like that. That's probably why they left. They're like, oh my God, she likes that guy? Yeah, he's interesting. He reviews the news, and I don't have to like search through the news or the TikToks or anything to see what exciting stuff is happening. I can just watch him go over it. I am putting some water in this glass now because it's not fun if we don't have any color. Man, the iPhone camera is so good compared to the cam from yesterday. Dude, I thought that was an interesting video yesterday, but we're gonna do something else here too. Just to keep the interest, I am moving into color like sooner than I should. Because if later I wanted to put I don't know, a lemon floating in here or something, it's too late. I would have to cut it out of a piece of paper and stick it on. But just for visual interest, this is where we're going with the drawing. We're gonna go like that. Okay, maybe you have some ice cubes in there. Those we could do. That's dry. That if you can put pencil on top of the marker, and then you can erase the pencil. But if you put the pencil underneath the marker, it's stuck. You can't do much there. Okay, this is a lovely cheese. It's supposed to be a chunk of mozzarella. Everybody knows mozzarella is not in a shape like that, right? But it could. I mean, maybe you had a giant roll of mozzarella and you cut that side thing off there. This one's sauce. Yeah, so the salt's back there. Water. We need a bag of flour, and that's going to be taller than this edge, so we have to erase that line back there. Big old flour sack. I'm kind of jealous of the older times. You know, when the flour sacks were made out of cotton and you could cut them up and make a dress out of them, it just seems like simpler times. Of course, they did that because people were like too poor to buy clothing. But I guess the flour company thought, hey, this is a good marketing tactic. Sell them 2 products at once. It needs to have a bag. Let's make that bag usable. I saw this yesterday, like they were calling somebody cheap. Who was it? Graham Stephan. He's a famous, like, financial guru who sometimes tries to get people to buy sketchy financial products using his, because the financial product people will, you know, pay him something to say, you know, I'm not a financial expert, but here's what I'm doing with my money. And then people listen to him like he's a financial expert because he's got $1 million, even though he's getting paid to say that thing. So they get themselves in trouble. Dave Ramsey, he got himself in trouble too. I don't know if anybody won the lawsuit, but he got paid. So Dave Ramsey got paid $30 million, I think, to talk about timeshare something. This company that helps you get out of your timeshare. But the company wasn't really getting people out of the timeshares. What it was doing was stalling a lot, and the people were like, we're working on it, but they weren't working on it. So they got sued. I don't know if they lost or not, but they were trying to it's supposed to be a company that gets people out of their timeshare contracts. Hey, maybe they were being honest, but they were just too busy. Maybe there's no way to get out of those timeshare products, but tell you what, I'm not buying a timeshare, that's for sure. So, considered to be one of the most sketchy financial products, like there's others. There's all kinds of sketchy financial products, but buyer beware. That's what I say. I'm gonna make this a little, whoa, eraser tried to roll away. I'm gonna make this side a little bit flatter and end a little closer so that because it just doesn't look realistic. It doesn't look like it's coming out properly. This looks like just a weird shaped cheese. We'll get that figured out. Cute. What else do we need? What other ingredients are there? Sauce, cheese, olive oil. We need a bottle of olive oil. We'll draw it up in here. Well, because we need to space things out a little. I don't know. Oh, the pizza cutter too. I got to remember the pizza cutter, which is shaped like, maybe like that. I don't know. I wish I could see my pizza cutter right now. I suppose I can pull up another page on the computer here and see what a pizza cutter looks like. Oh, it's you and me, Val. You and me and the 7 other people, because I'm actually one of the people in the room. So if it says just one person's watching, that's just me. That's it. It's on my computer so I can see what I'm doing, just to make sure I try and stay on the page again when I fell off the page earlier. My apologies. Just, you know, if you're watching later on and you see me do something dumb, just skip ahead. You know, it wouldn't be the first time and it won't be the last. So here's an olive oil. So, anybody got anything to add? Ha! Ha! Did you see that? I just saw that. Okay, so I looked up. 9 people were watching. I said something about it being me and Vel here, and the people were like, phew, gone. Well, thanks for stopping by. No problem. It's a come and go party, you know? You got something better to do? By golly, go do it. Yeah. So anyway, yes, I was, the way that I saw the news about what was going on in California was completely through watching other people's live videos. Fun stuff, like watching the mayor say, it's not a big deal, like on a split screen with cars burning up on fire. It's like, you know, to whoever was set the car on fire, it was a big deal, you know? And to the person filming it right in person, seeing a car burning, hey, you probably should move. And I don't mean move, like maybe move out of state, but you know, at least move off the street where the car's burning. There's gonna be toxic fumes. Like, I don't know. There must be some toxic fumes from that. Probably why it happens to be illegal to set a car on fire in a street. Yeah. So, not a big deal. Not a big deal. But yeah, I watch it by watching other people watching it, and I watch their reactions, and I have some fun with that. This tabletop is awfully skinny. It doesn't have any thickness to it, so I'm going to add, we should do that again the way we did it before. It was fun. We took 2 pencils. Oh, I can't get them close enough together, can I? I did this to trace the line. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it the easy way. If you make short strokes, you can correct rapidly your line. There we go. Okay, because when you're standing to the side of the table, you can always see that lip there. And that is the difference when something looks like it just makes it look like you tried. Another thing that's going to make a big difference if you're a doodler is to put some shadows in. Like shadows, say, okay, first we need our light source. So we're going to put our light source up here. Oh, I love to draw little lamps that hang down from the ceiling, but I don't know quite where the ceiling is. So let us define the ceiling. The ceiling is above that line. Oh, wait. There's my vanishing point marked with VP right there. Okay. That direction is going to be the ceiling. Okay, so we'll just continue that line. Ooh, yeah, I almost screwed up. And nobody was going to tell me. Which is fine. I don't care. I don't care. So, funny things about life, right? I was just thinking that I used to get in trouble a lot for my handwriting. As you can see, it's not beautiful. But then later in my life, people used to pay me to engrave stuff with my wacky handwriting, with my wacky doodle lettering type writing that, you know, how I write on jewelry. I would take it really slow and write like, I love you, like that. I'd engrave like that. And it wouldn't look like a fancy engraving or anything like that. It was just like that. But yeah, I used to get in trouble. My mom so much wanted me to have beautiful handwriting. And I get it. I understand, you know. But I feel like I got the last laugh, you know. Because people used to pay me to engrave. And then it's silly. They really shouldn't have. Okay, so over here with the pizza toppings and the situation. So if you want to do a doodle and you want something cool to happen, there's another thing. Like something should be happening out the window. Like maybe there's a street out here or something like that. And maybe across the street from that there's like a big bush or something, you know. Like we'll just make we can make an outdoor scene out here with some foliage. Maybe it's a pond. Maybe you've got a beautiful view of like maybe it's not a road. Dude, wouldn't it be cool to have a pond? Oh, would love it. But anyway, keep some focal interest here. And then for down here, we need some mischief. Okay? I do not care to have a disgusting animal up here at the table, but I would prefer to have my disgusting animals near the floor. So what you're going to find out, which I tend to, I never draw attention to when I post my drawings, but there's always got to be a mouse hole in my drawings. There's always a mouse. A disgusting little mouse. There's this, that's where he lives. Gosh, what is his name? Frederick J. Mouse. That is Mr. Mouse. He is a business mouse. He wears a suit and tie to work. And Frederick J. Mouse is a very important business mouse. But over here, he is going to just be, he's at home, you know. He's just scurrying around looking for something. He gets his paycheck. He gets paid in mouse bucks. Where's my mouse bucks? They're on the other page. I showed you my mouse bucks at the beginning. So here's a mouse. He needs some little legs. And what is he doing in my house? He's way too big. Way huge. Pardon me, but Frederick J. Mouse, a very serious business mouse. When I draw Frederick J. Mouse as a serious business mouse, he is, can you see over here? I can't tell. Okay. You didn't tell me I went off the page. Again. Some friends you are. Okay, Frederick J. Business Mouse. Here's a side view. He looks like this. He stands upright because he's an important person. He has his nose in the air, which is an expression that means that you are, I suppose that you're stuck up. And then there's another expression about noses. She looks down her nose at me, which I just found out recently is not supposed to be literal. I think it means that, and I think it's similar to being stuck up, but I'm not sure. And I don't have my other computer handy to find out the answer, but maybe you know. So that does not look like another foot over there. Let's give him another foot. And he always has an arm, and he typically is carrying his briefcase like quite close to the floor. Because the mouse, when the mouse are standing up,